I think the most common question I get asked is what is the best use of diamonds in Eternal Evolution? So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about what is the best way to use them, and then I'm going to just show you some other places that they can be used, and we'll chat about it for a second. You can feel it out how you want, because some things might be worth it to you that don't feel like they're worth it to me. Okay, the number one priority for your diamonds, in my opinion, is Disa Caves refills. I've reached my limit today. I kind of think you want to reach this limit every day, right? You've got your 3 daily allotted runs that you can do in these dungeons. My hand landed on escape. If you are trying a dungeon you haven't cleared, it does not consume energy. If you clear a dungeon for the first time, it does not consume energy. It's only when you go back and redo a dungeon does it consume energy, right? So you get 3 times to do that. And then you can spend diamonds on refilling your energy in here. Depending on your spending level is going to dictate how much of that you're able to max out every single day. But especially early on, when the game is rewarding you for every single thing you do with diamonds, you can afford to do it. And for the sake of progression, I think it's a good idea to blow your diamonds in here for a while. I would not do it for any stage lower than 6, because 6 is the first stage you can get mythic gear. And it really starts to take effect when you could do it in 10 or above. Anything under 6, I would not recommend spending diamonds on refills for. You're going to accumulate gear from other places, as well as rewards and different things. This is the gear farming place, but as you progress, you're going to get showered with resources and rewards and all of that. So I would work my way up to Disa 6 as quickly as possible, and then you can begin to justify spending some diamonds in here for some refills. And it can be up to you how many you want to spend every day. But I max it out every day because gear is of the utmost importance. Okay, so that's the number one use for your diamonds in Eternal Evolution, and I don't really think it's open for debate. Okay, beyond that, if you want to spend some diamonds in the other dungeons, of course you can. Divine prototypes are going to be great to farm. I would follow the same format though. Terradome, you can kind of get away with it, maybe even in the lower stages. Terradome might be kind of an exception. The Kinsaro Marsh though, I wouldn't really start spending until at least Epic. I wouldn't start doing it, but if you can get to 9 and start getting Mythic commanders, even better, right? Same kind of principle. Let's see. Arena refills, depending on how seriously you want to take Arena, you're going to want to use diamonds to buy more Arena tickets. I usually cap this out every day as well because I'm trying to take Arena pretty seriously while I can. I'm eventually going to get outwilled. I've spent a little bit of money right now. I'm not going to keep up pace. I'm surprised I'm still this high for the amount of money I've spent. I think I've spent about $200 since the game launched. I'm surprised I have not gotten monstrously outwilled yet. But this will dwindle in time, I would imagine. But if you want to take Arena seriously, you can spend them in there as well. And then for recruitments, for basic recruitments, I think, again, fairly early on in your first few days of the game, you can get away with doing this because you are going to need a lot of food. You're going to want to be evolving your champs as quickly as possible. You're going to be wanting to get your hands on as much food as possible. And accumulating summons in here for this exchange shop is not a bad idea. You see, I've bought quite a few things in here, and I have quite a few tickets. I got an artist copy, I got a Lyran copy. Some of the champs I'm using, I can come in here and get copies of. So early on, I think you can justify doing this. This is not something I would lean very heavily into. Your basic summons are very rarely going to net you a usable elite hero. You can get really lucky. I have gotten Taylor from it. I've gotten artist from it a few times. I have pulled some good champs. But more often than not, it's going to be nothing, right? It is, your green shards in raid with a slight chance to pull a good epic. You know what I mean? Most of the time, it's going to be food, and that's what you're using it for. But again, very early on, it's worth using diamonds for food because you're going to want to be evolving your champs as quickly as possible. And if you pre-registered and you're building artists or Lyran is your healer, it's not a bad idea to ramp this up quickly so you can go ahead and grab some copies of them so you can continue to evolve them, okay? The diamonds are pretty useful for that in the first few days. It's not something I would keep going on a very regular basis, again, unless you're a really heavy spender and you need food. But to give you an idea of food, last night for me, this was at like, I don't know, 23 300 or something. These ramp up really quickly as you progress a little bit deeper into the game. You start getting a lot of these. These start to drop pretty regularly. So you'll start to get food from other places. Every now and then I'll jump in there and do a 10 pop, but it's usually just like, maybe I'll get lucky and get a Tailor, right? For forever, I had my Tailor sitting, waiting to become immortal. And I was like, I just need one copy. For like 3 days, I needed one copy of Tailor and I couldn't get it. So every now and then I'd jump in there and try a 10 pop and see if I could get lucky, but it's not efficient. It's not a good use of your diamonds in the long term, okay? Beyond that, in the shop, there are some good usages of your diamonds. Again, depending on your spending level. You can see what I've bought in here, okay? And you've heard my spending level. The game has been out for, I don't know, a week or so, and I've spent about 200, I think, and I'm probably about done spending. I probably won't do a ton more spending. Every now and then I might snag a pack, but I wanted to go ahead and get resources as quickly as I could because I wanted to get out ahead of it so that I could really get familiar with the game, get some champs to immortal, start to really understand things so that I can make content for it, right? So I think I've about reached the point where I feel pretty solid with everything I have and understand I don't need to keep spending. So I will slow down a little bit on how I'm spending my diamonds, but I did a shop guide a while back too. You buy this every day. as a quick callback to that video, this is non-negotiable. Every time your shop resets, you buy this because that's going to drop quick. I like to spend my diamonds on it as well because, again, it's a very valuable resource. I can't remember. That was probably epic. I feel like that had to have been epic for me to spend money on that. Or elite, I'm sorry. And then down here, I bought my exclusive weapon materials. I bought some gear level up charms. I don't buy the gear. Gear could be such a flop. You know what I mean? I don't think it's worth 1,500 gems to roll those dice. Sometimes in Wasteland, you're always going to have your Wasteland shop, but then this top row is because sometimes when you're doing Wasteland, you'll find that spot with the $sign that's a merchant, and it'll put these items in the shop for a certain amount of time. And it's usually pretty good deals, right? I don't even think this is a terrible deal. I just don't want to do it. I've already got 2 mythic copies of him to roll and see how it goes. And I don't want to spend 2,250 gems on it. But especially if you're really early in the game and you haven't unlocked mythic commanders yet from Kinsaro Dungeon, this could be huge for you, right? So that's an example of when it would be pretty worth it. But I can farm mythic commanders now, so I'm going to get more copies of him than I know what to do with. So I don't need to spend gems on it. But earlier in the game, that's a great deal. Again, exclusive weapon material. And if you don't know what I mean when I say that, I'll show you really quickly. When you get a champ to Mythic 1, you'll see Randall doesn't have it yet. When you get a champ to Mythic 1, you unlock the exclusive weapon that gives them some stat boost and then certain effects as you level it up. They are rare and it's expensive, right? In order to get him to his next bump, I have to get this to level 10. It's very expensive. I've spread them out a little bit. I'm mostly focusing Tailor and Ravenna, and they're rare. So in my opinion, when they pop up, I don't care how much they cost. I'm gonna buy them with diamonds and stuff. Again, I'm about reached the end of my spending for now, but if they pop up for diamonds, I'm 100% gonna grab them. Gear charms, also very valuable. And then this is for leveling up. What is that dumb thing called? Divine prototypes. That's what the material for enhancing them is. Well, he's already maxed. Let's go to one that's not maxed. This material right here, which is pretty valuable. I have a lot, but I've done very little of leveling up my divine prototypes. I've kind of got my ones that I'm using across the board, so I haven't leveled a bunch up, but I will. So it's not a bad idea to go ahead and snag that resource while you can. Beyond that, that pretty much covers it, in my opinion. That's a good usage of diamonds. Sometimes you get that, I think his name's Fappy, which sounds like it can't be right. The little red squid dude that pops over here sometimes. Sometimes he'll have a decent deal that you can spend gems on, and it'll be discounted. Again, that'll be at your discretion. If you feel like it's worth it for you to spend those diamonds, then go for it. As far as the shop, I don't think there's anything in here we need to cover. That's all money, right? So that's it. One thing I'll say absolutely do not spend diamonds on is, I don't even know why it's an option. In here in the Inherit building, you can spend diamonds to unlock slots. There is no shot in hell you're going to use more of these than you unlock as you progress, absolutely do not spend diamonds on that. It really doesn't even need to be an option. There's no way you're going to have... I don't even know that there's this many more champs in the game that I don't have. And then there's still all this many to go as you progress. Do not spend diamonds to unlock slots in there. You're going to unlock way more than you need. Don't do that. I don't even know why that's an option. It's silly. I think that's it. I think we've pretty much covered everything. The big one, the big thing, if you want to just be absolutely as efficient as you can possibly be, it's Disa Caves. I think over everything else in the game, I think if you decided to max out your refills in here every day and do nothing else with your diamonds, I think that's a very good move, okay? That's kind of the takeaway. The more gear you get, the better. Gear farming is never going to end, ever. You're always going to be needing better gear. It's never going to end. So if you can afford it, max that out every day and do your runs in here every day, okay? That's the best use of diamonds if you just want clear cut what is the absolute best use. But I figured it was worth talking about some of the other options as well. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Hopefully not. If I'm forgetting anything and you've got a good use for diamonds that I didn't talk about here, drop it in the comments below. Probably not a good idea to head down there and see if I missed anything. Very possible, but I think I pretty much covered it. Disa Caves is the answer. And then if you wanted to do some of the other dungeons, in the early stages, 10 pops of basic summons is not a bad idea. A couple things in the shop you could justify buying with diamonds. The Fathies thing, or whatever his name is, sometimes he's got a good deal. Pretty much covers it. Don't spend them in the inherit building. It will never be necessary. I don't know why it's an option. Maybe in 2 years, when we've got 100 more champs in the game, it'll be different. But for now, you better not spend your diamonds in there, okay? So that's it. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it clears it up for you and you feel pretty good about what to do with your diamonds. I'm getting out of here. I don't think... I did a video on commanders recently. So if you want to check that one out, if you have any questions about commanders, that'll be up on the screen now. Because there might be one thing you've overlooked about commanders, to be honest. And I'll go over it in that video. So that's it. I'm getting out of here. I appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.